And here it is. The power supply and the power buses and the outlet or plug socket and some cable shoes and some chocolate. There was even some chocolate in the parcel. Unfortunately, it didn't survive the visit of my youngest grandson. I had not expected two power buses, as I had ordered only one, nor had I expected the cable shoes, nor the chocolate, of course. I was even more surprised about that, as they didn't want more money for that in the bill. I asked the Dutch company about that, well, not about the chocolate, and they answered I should see it as a support of my project, which they find very interesting. Well, thank you for that, Modular Synth Lab. You will find the link to their website down in the description. All right. But now for the building activities. As you see, there are some blank connections at the power supply, three of which have to be fed with high voltage, which is 220 volt here in the Czech Republic. I'll make a stable cover for all of the connections, of course. But listen to the following warning at first. Don't work with blank connections or blank cables which are current carrying. It's deadly dangerous, and I mean what I'm saying. Don't work with current carrying circuits and voltages higher than 12 volt at all if you are not experienced with work like that. It's deadly dangerous, and I mean what I'm saying. I had an old farm back in the days and a skilled and professional electrician who taught me to handle these things. I would not do it otherwise because it's deadly dangerous and I mean what I'm saying. I'm not joking. Well, what am I going to do next? I'll have to combine all these parts to a safety and well-functioning power supplying system for my future modular synth, of course. But before I go and build a nice and safety case, I want to test the setup first. To do so, I will build a makeshift case from cardboard, only for the supply, make all necessary electrical connections, and, as I said, test the whole thing. If everything works fine electrically, I'll go and find me a do-it-yourself sequencer kit, which will be my first real module. I want to trigger the sequencer with the LFO of my Behringer neutron then, and the sequencer itself shall control one of the oscillators of the neutron. Okay, roll up your sleeves, Rolf, and get going. I remember how to connect the pins at the back of the switch and the jack, but testing is better than believing that I remember right. So I tested with a simple battery, and yes, I'm right. Now it's on, and now it's off. All right, so this is the right way to do it. I have to produce the little cables for connecting these pins that way. Now, my grandchildren love this working table. They love it so much that they even paint on it. I let the children play, as long as it's creative and not destructive. All right. I'm going to cut and prepare the cables to join, to combine, to link the right pins together, according to the test and according to what I remember from my days as a farmer. Well, all right. So at first these two pins, I need about that much cable. Then I need longer cable to connect it to the power supply. Okay, so I think that would be sufficient. You will see in a while why I know this, because I've already finished my idea of the makeshift housing, makeshift case for only for the the power supply, of course. And the third one, all right, a third one for the ground. Okay. Well, let's go and remove insulation. I think, nope, not that. The next. Yeah. Okay. And the other ones as well. I want to use these cable shoes, so I have to crimp them, put in the cable in that end. Can you see it? I hope so. I will show it later. A bit more detailed perhaps. I use this instrument as well, and you see here are three color codes, or one color code with three colors: yellow, blue and red. These are blue cable shoes, and the color shows the size of the cable, and the right hole to use is of course then the blue one, 2.5. I should have taken my other glasses, but okay. And here we are. And now I can take this cable and stuck it simply here on this power let out, and of course the other one here. Yes. No. I should really change my glasses, but it's okay for this take. Okay. The same with the other cables, only that I crimp only one end, because the other one is going to these connectors here, to these three mentioned in my last video. No, in this video it was at the beginning. All right. You see that the cable shoes are completely down to cover the blank parts. The sense of a cable shoe is to isolate, and so you should not do this at all. I told you already. But the people who do this and who know what they are doing, they put, like me, the cable shoe completely down and cover the complete blank outlet. And now, with all cables attached, I see that I have forgotten to connect the live with the switch here on the other side. So only the neutral, this one, but not the live, so I have to make a little cable more to connect even these pins here. Okay, everything is prepared now for, let's say, the pre-final test if all connections are working. Okay, at first the neutral, I switch on, and yes, connection works. Switching off, it's interrupted. Now the live, I change the input pin here. Okay, no connection, and now I switch on and connect it. All right, so let's at last try the ground, and ground, and of course without switching it's connected. Yeah, good, things work. By the way, and in case you have not noticed, switches like this with returning current interrupt both the live as well as the neutral. So both, let me say, both channels are interrupted by the switch. Well, now for the purely mechanical part. And no joke, I'm going to use this cardboard box as a makeshift housing, a makeshift case for the power supply, and to strengthen the walls a bit, to strengthen the walls there where this input, this jack is going, plug is going to be. I use this latch. And while the glue is drying, I prepare something for the bus board, also makeshift as well, and only for the testing until I have got and finished my first module, the sequencer. I don't want to think about the real final case, or a real final case, not before I've got my first module done, because I'm not so sure how to install the whole thing, the whole case into the shelf I showed you in video number 1. And I need some things to fit them into the shelf to get a notion of how the whole huge synthesizer, modular synthesizer, the case solution for this will look like. And I fix the power supply in the box. All right, connecting the plug and the switch to the power supply now. I know that every cable should have a different color, of course, but it's, as I told you, only makeshift, and the only person who will be working with this is me. All right, let me test the output voltage then. At first, minus 12 volt. It should be, so here is the COM. Now I don't know whether you see it. And minus 12 volt is at V3. And we see, yes, 12 volt, 1197.96. So now the plus voltage, so I turn around. Yeah, so output 5 volt. I don't want to cover the camera. Here, and COM. And yeah, it's 506. And 12 volt plus 12 volt. There is something wrong. What do I have here? I have, no. Ah, of course, COM. 12 volt. No, absolutely okay. 1206. Well, it works. Great. So now I can connect it to the power bus. I switch the supply off, even here, and remove the power cable. I want to lead the necessary voltages, plus 5 volt, minus 12 volt, and plus 12 volt, and ground. I want to lead it out here, so I will make a cut here and lead it then there to the power bus. And again testing if the connections work and if I have written everything correctly. So this is ground. Let me control the camera. Yeah, you see it. And let's try at first minus 12 volt. Yes, works. The next thing is plus 12 volt. Okay. Huh? There is a no. Okay, everything okay. And the next is plus 5 volt. Wonderful. All connections work, and I have written everything at the correct cable. Okay, next step is connecting the power supply and the power bus. This should be quite easy because on the power bus it's written where what belongs. All right, and now the great moment comes. Everything is installed, everything is connected, and I will switch on the main power. And wow, it works. The LEDs on the power board signalize that all 3 voltages work. All right.